Okay, so imagine this, right?
Okay.
An AI that can answer any question you throw at it
Right.
in like any language.
Yeah. Yeah.
Write different creative text formats,
Mm-hmm.
even code better than most humans.
Wow.
All for a surprisingly low cost to train.
Okay.
That's Deepseek V3.
Yeah, you asked us to take a deep dive into this research paper about it.
Really fascinating stuff.
It's open source too, which is really interesting.
Okay, so let's start with like what makes this model so special.
Right.
I mean, we hear about new AI models like all the time, right?
All the time. Yeah. But DeepSeek V3 is unique for a few reasons.
Okay.
Starting with its size. I mean, it has 671 billion parameters.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, it's huge. Think of those parameters like as connections in a brain,
Oh, okay.
like neurons.
Okay, so that's a massive brain, but how does it actually like work?
Right.
Does it use all those parameters all the time?
That's the really clever part.
Okay.
It uses this technique called mixture of experts, or MOE. It's like having a team of specialized AI modules, each one like an expert in a specific area.
Okay.
So instead of using all 671 billion parameters for every task,
Right.
it only activates the experts that are relevant to what it's doing at that time.
So it's like incredibly efficient.
Yeah,
It's like, only using the brain power it needs for that specific task.
exactly. Yeah.
That's a pretty cool way to build an AI, I think.
Yeah, it is.
What about training something this big?
Right.
I mean, it must have taken forever.
You would think so, right?
Yeah.
But actually, they trained it on a data set of 14.8 trillion words.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's basically like the entire internet multiple times over.
Whoa.
But here's the kicker.
Okay.
They did it for a surprisingly low cost.
Really? How low were you talking?
About $5.5 million.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's incredibly cheap compared to some other models.
Right.
Like some of them cost hundreds of millions to train.
That's like a tenth of the cost of its competitors.
Yeah.
That's a game changer.
Yes.
For making this cutting-edge AI accessible.
Yeah, to like smaller companies and researchers.
Exactly. How did they pull that off?
They use this really innovative technique with something called 8-bit precision,
Okay.
or FP8 during training.
FP8. Okay.
And usually this technique is only used for like running a model
Right.
after it's been trained,
Okay.
not for the training itself.
Gotcha.
But they figured out a way to use it during training, and it drastically reduces the computing power needed.
So they found a way to train this massive model with way less computing power and for way less money.
Yeah, much less cost.
That's really impressive.
It is.
It sounds like they were on a roll with the innovations.
Yeah.
Did they do anything else to kind of boost its capabilities?
Absolutely, they did.
Okay.
They took things a step further
Okay.
by using another AI called Deepseek R1
Okay.
to make Deepseek V3 even smarter.
So they used an AI to train another AI.
Kind of, yeah. R1 is known for its reasoning,
Yeah.
and problem-solving skills.
Uh-huh.
So they basically distilled the thinking patterns of R1 into Deepseek V3.
Wait, so they taught the AI to think like a STAR student.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
How did they even do that?
They focused on distilling the verification and reflection patterns of R1. It's kind of like teaching Deepseek V3 to double-check its work and think through problems more deeply.
Oh, okay.
Just like a human student would.
So they built this giant efficient brain,
Yeah.
trained it on like a massive data set,
Right.
and then made it even smarter by teaching it to think like a reasoning master.
Right.
I'm already blown away, and we haven't even gotten to the results yet.
Well, the results are pretty astounding. They're really impressive.
Okay, so it's not just a budget-friendly AI.
Right.
It's like a top performer, too.
Yeah, it is.
What kind of tasks did they test it on?
They ran it through like a whole battery of tests.
Okay.
Using those standard benchmarks to see how it stacked up against other models.
Uh-huh.
One test called Needle in a Haystack
Beetle in a haystack.
evaluated its ability to handle like super long pieces of text.
How long are we talking?
Up to 128,000 words.
128,000 words.
Yeah.
That's like trying to find a specific sentence
Right.
in a library full of books.
Exactly.
Yeah. How did it do?
It aced it.
Wow.
Deepseek V3 can process and understand these massive amounts of information,
Okay.
which is really important for things like
Yeah.
summarizing long documents or having these in-depth conversations.
So it's like having an AI with a photographic memory.
Yeah, kinda.
That would definitely come in handy for research.
It would.
Did they test its knowledge across different subjects too?
They did.
Okay.
They used this benchmark data set called MMLU,
MMLU.
which covers 57 different subjects.
57.
Yeah.
What kind of subjects?
Everything from like elementary math to law to U.S. history.
Wow, okay.
And remember, Deepseek V3 is multilingual.
Right.
So they also used a benchmark called MMLU.
In an MLU.
Oh, which tests knowledge in multiple languages.
Like what kind of languages?
Like English, Chinese, French, German, Spanish.
So they really put it through the ringer.
They did, yeah.
And it passed with flying colors.
It did, in fact. It scored some of the highest results
Wow.
ever recorded on some of these tests.
Really?
Especially in math and coding.
Okay.
For example, there's a benchmark called Human Evil,
Human Evil.
which tests a model's ability to generate working code
Oh, wow.
from just instructions given in plain English.
So you could basically just describe a program that you want to create,
Right?
and Deepseek V3 could write the code for you.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It could be a game changer for software development.
Yeah, for sure.
And it could even open up coding to people who don't have like traditional programming skills.
That's a really cool thought.
Yeah.
What about math?
They also tested it on complex math problems.
Okay.
Using data sets like GSM-8K and math.
Which have thousands of word problems.
So could Deepseek V3 help me with my taxes?
Well, it's certainly capable of solving complex math problems.
Okay.
The researchers were really impressed with its ability to grasp mathematical concepts and apply them to real-world scenarios.
So it's not just crunching numbers.
Right.
It's actually understanding the problem.
Yeah, it's understanding the problem and coming up with solutions.
That's pretty amazing.
It is.
So it's smart. It's efficient.
Yeah,
Did they focus on making it user-friendly too?
they did.
Okay.
They recognize that for AI to be truly useful, it needs to be able to interact with humans
Right.
in like a natural and intuitive way.
Right, of course.
So they spent a lot of time fine-tuning Deepseek V3
Okay.
to be more user-friendly and aligned with human values.
How do they do that?
They used a combination of techniques,
Okay.
like supervised fine-tuning and reinforcement learning,
Okay.
to teach it how to follow instructions,
Uh-huh.
give like clear and concise answers, and even engage in conversations that sound natural.
So they really wanted to make it feel like you're talking to a human.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and they even used this really cool technique
Okay.
to enhance its reasoning abilities.
Well, okay.
They trained it to think step by step.
Step by step.
Yeah, kind of like a human would when solving a problem.
So they're basically teaching it to show its work.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a clever way to make sure it's not just like spitting out answers,
Right.
but actually understanding the process.
Yeah, understanding the why behind the answer.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All this talk about benchmarks and technical achievements
Right.
is really fascinating.
Yeah.
But let's bring it back down to earth for a second.
Okay.
What does all this mean for like the average person?
Right.
How could Deepseek V3 impact our daily lives?
Well, think about the tools you use every day,
Okay.
like search engines, chatbots, language translation apps.
Uh,
Deepseek V3 and models like it are going to revolutionize those tools,
okay.
making them smarter, more intuitive,
Yeah.
and capable of things that we can only dream of right now.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
And because it's open source,
Right.
everyone can benefit from these advancements.
Exactly.
It's not just a few big companies.
Right. It's for everyone.
I like that.
Yeah.
So what could we see in the future?
Imagine personalized education
Okay.
that adapts to your learning style.
That would be amazing.
AI assistants that help you write code,
Okay.
create marketing copy tailored to your brand,
Uh-huh.
or translate languages flawlessly.
The possibilities really are endless.
They are, yeah.
Feels like we're on the cusp of like a new era for AI.
I think so too.
Yeah, it really does feel like the future is here, doesn't it?
It does.
With all this talk about powerful AI,
Yeah.
I can't help but wonder about the hardware.
Right.
Can our computers even handle these massive models?
That's a great question. And actually, the researchers behind Deepseek V3 address that in their paper.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're not just pushing the boundaries of AI software.
Right.
They're thinking about the hardware, too.
Exactly. They offered some suggestions
Oh,
for hardware designers based on their experience building this model.
what kind of suggestions?
Well, they highlighted the need for more efficient communication
Okay.
between hardware components,
Ah.
especially as these models get even larger,
Right.
And they even proposed designs for new chips
Wow.
that can handle their custom 8-bit training techniques more effectively.
So they're looking at the whole picture.
Yeah, from software to hardware.
It sounds like they're really laying the groundwork for a future
Uh-huh.
where AI is even more powerful and accessible.
I think they are, and the fact that Deepseek V3 is open source
Right.
means that anyone can access it, use it, and build upon it.
So it's not just a groundbreaking model.
Right.
It's a tool.
It's a tool that anyone can use to explore AI.
That's amazing.
It is, and it brings us to a point that I think is often overlooked in these conversations.
What's that?
This kind of accessibility could actually lead to a much faster pace of innovation
Oh, interesting.
in AI as a whole.
Because more people have access.
Right, more people can contribute.
It's like crowdsourcing the future of AI.
Exactly.
This research paper has been an incredible journey.
It has.
From the model's unique architecture
Right.
to its surprisingly efficient training to these really impressive results.
Yeah, and its mind-blowing potential.
It's been a lot of information.
It has.
And I think it all points to one pretty clear conclusion.
What's that?
Deepseek V3 represents a major leap forward
Yeah,
in the world of open source AI.
it really does.
It's not just catching up to the big players anymore.
Right.
It's surpassing them in some areas.
Yeah.
And it's doing it all at a fraction of the cost.
Exactly.
It's a really exciting time to be following this field.
It is.
And we can't wait to see what comes next.
Me too.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
we want to leave you with one final thought.
All right.
With AI evolving so rapidly,
Yeah.
what role do you see it playing in your life? How will you use this technology
Right.
to learn to create and to solve problems?
Yeah.
The possibilities are truly limitless.
They are.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one developing the next groundbreaking AI model.
You never know.